Hey guys, Andrew coming at you, and I just finished a run, so sometimes that's why I look a little sweaty. I guess I could have changed, but when I finish a run, a lot of the times my head is like in a really good place, and I know exactly what I want to talk about. And so today I was going to talk about gaming in Sweden, and my relationship with gaming in Sweden. And this is returns to video games or computer games, and like I said, my relationship with it, and then how it's worked with me. So I came to Sweden. I'm in my 6th year here now, but it won't be 6 years till August. So about 5 years ago. And after my first year here, I had a laptop and I just played some games every once in a while. Truth is, one of the things you deal with when you move to another country is just isolation and being alone. And I started playing Counter-Strike because every once in a while I used to play Counter-Strike when I was a kid. I always had like consoles, but I never had a gaming computer. And I was playing a little bit on my laptop. I was playing around with Steam. And I was playing Counter-Strike. I think honestly I was getting like 30 frames per second. I didn't realize how bad it was. And I had one of my Swedish friends come over, and he was just like a buddy. And he was like, man, I can't believe you're playing on a laptop. And he just said all this stuff. And then I just finally was like, okay, I need to get a gaming computer. So after some help, I had some help with a friend that helped me design a gaming computer this would have been 4 years ago now. I think I had a GTX 760 graphics card, 8 gigs of RAM. It was just like what I needed, but it would last for a little while. I didn't even have the greatest monitor. And I started to play Counter-Strike. Now, video games have a special place in my heart because, as I was saying earlier, you deal with isolation and being alone when you move to any country, and especially sometimes in Sweden, it can be difficult to make friends at first. And so I started to play Counter-Strike, and at the time, it was just such a cool place to relax. Now, I had a friend said to me, "Hey, why don't?" And this is how I got into Counter-Strike. He said, "I don't want you to do Counter-Strike because it's too hard. It'll take you too long to play the game. Why don't you play something like Call of Duty?" And that just got me excited about Counter-Strike. So I just always found myself going to that game. I liked how every game was different, and that I was going to play against people online. And there was always competition, and it did things by a ranking system. And in the process, when I was kind of going through like my deepest and loneliest moments, I started to make friends with people online in the gaming community. I had certain people that I would play with. I don't really game anywhere near as much as I used to, especially because my computer's broken. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I started to have a group of people where I would go home and we would play video games together. And it wasn't like it was always planned. It was just like if we were on. But maybe every once in a while, it was like 4 or 5 of us. We'd be like, okay, on Saturday we'd play. And we would be a team. And we probably, honestly, were not the best team. Looking back, we weren't the best skilled players. And we were from all around the globe. One guy was from England. One girl was from Norway. Another guy, I think, was from England. And we would just have so much fun. And the interesting thing was, after a game or before a game or while we were waiting to play games, we would talk about our lives. And when I was going through those loneliest moments in Sweden where I didn't know what was going on, gaming was a place for me to kind of have community and friends. I'm still friends with some of those people on Facebook. We still communicate from time to time, but we don't play games so much anymore. But it was really, really interesting. So the gaming culture, I will say, in Sweden is huge. I would say I haven't been to the U.S. I haven't been a teenager in the U.S. I'm sure it's huge in the U.S. at the same time, but definitely in particular with the game of Counter-Strike. And I can just think of a couple teams. I know it's not going to be for everybody, but it became a bit of an esport. And you have Ninjas in Pajamas, for example. Fnatic was always big, and every once in a while I would watch the matches. But mostly I just play for fun. But a lot of my Swedish friends had like younger brothers, and sometimes on weekends I would go over to their place, and they would actually set up a LAN. And in Sweden, it's really popular for people to have like a LAN and play. I would say probably League of Legends, Dota, and Counter-Strike are the 3 biggest games, I think, in the world, but definitely in Sweden. Counter-Strike is a huge game in Sweden as far as players and competitions. And so gaming is huge in Sweden. As far as I know, I'm pretty sure they've even opened up, I've heard this, I think it's a gymnasium. Gymnasium would be like high school level, but I'm pretty sure they opened up a gymnasium for students with a focus in online competitive gaming. So it's becoming a much bigger thing than it was in the past. And a lot of kids play. There's a competition where they actually have these esports, and someone's going to have to write this in the comments because I've never gone, but I think it's usually held in Jönköping, and then there's one that's held in Stockholm, and it's a big gaming convention. They have it in Sweden, and there's usually Counter-Strike, and a lot of kids go and play LAN, and it's a fun time. I think it's great that kids have gaming, and I think that, I mean, I haven't played so much gaming and stuff, but you always kind of, like, I think when I was a kid, gamers, you know, had a certain stereotype, and I just think it's not necessarily true. Like, I just got back from a run. I love to exercise and stay in shape, and my favorite thing to do sometimes was just to play video games when I had free time and when I finished everything else. And so it's been huge. I think gaming in Sweden is really, big. I haven't been to a LAN, but I know that in Gothenburg, I'm pretty sure there's a place where you can go and like rent to play gaming computers and play games as well. It's a great way to connect with each other. And, you know, one thing I think about now is someday maybe I'll have kids, and that'll be nice. I don't have kids now, but someday maybe I'll have kids. And if I have a son or a daughter, it doesn't matter. It would be really fun to play video games with them. I really hope they still want to go outside. I really hope that they don't want to be on their phone all day. And that's the interesting thing is I deal with that with the internet sometimes, and having a YouTube channel is trying to find a time to be away from my screen and be in the real world as well. But anyways, I mentioned my computer, and if you've been following me for a while, my gaming PC rig kind of died. I'm pretty sure it's my power supply. And I want to get it fixed, and I had to like open it up, and I could fix it myself, and I could buy the parts, but I'm not really an expert at that, and I've done things here or there with that. But what I'm planning on doing is that probably in a couple months, I'm saving up some money, because right now I'm able to do most of my videos with my laptop. It's not fast enough all the time, and it's okay, but I bought it for this reason, that I could keep my YouTube channel going. And what I'm eventually going to do, guys, is just get my computer updated, and so I'm going to put a new graphics card in it. I'm going to add about an extra 8 gigs of RAM, and probably get a new screen, a dual monitor screen set up, and do all that. I might not be able to do that till around Christmas time, but I'm hoping to do that within the next 2 to 3 months. So I figured if I had to get it fixed, I might as well upgrade it so that it'll last me a couple years. Once that happens, I'll probably have more of a workstation. You would see maybe some of my earlier videos, I was at a computer desk at times. So I will eventually do that. So this is kind of my story with my overall relationship with online gaming in Sweden, and you can kind of see what I mean, is that it's a good place to go to find friends if you don't have, just through playing games. But it makes sense. Like, I could be friends with someone that just likes running, just talking about running. I have made friends with people that like to watch hockey, and all we do is watch hockey. We don't talk about anything else in our life other than hockey. And it's nice to have those kind of friends and have those people around. So that has been my definite relationship with this. So I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, you know, I would love if you give me a like. And if you're new to the channel, I would love to have you subscribe as well. I'm always trying to find ways to talk about Sweden, but in a way where I'm kind of just also giving you my perspective and who I am. So I'm doing that, and I'm trying to work as hard as I can on my YouTube channel. Eventually, I'm going to have to start moving ahead. What I'm going to try to start doing as well is adding a series in where I vlog a little. And we're not just vlogging like showing you where I'm traveling, but also just kind of talking about my life and where I am and how I'm doing week to week at times, just to kind of touch base with you guys. Because I think a number of you like to just hear my overall view, like to hear my review of things in Sweden, and that's fun for me, don't get me wrong. But you might also enjoy maybe hearing about maybe an interesting book I read, a series I'm into, something fun that I'm into in my life, some things and questions you might have about me that I've never answered before. So what I'm going to ask you here below at the end, if you've stayed and watched this, is if you just have a random question you want to ask me, something you're interested or curious about in me in particular, I will save some of these, and at a later date I will make a video kind of going in and talking about what things I like. So that being said, I hope you guys really enjoyed this one, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.